is now on lockdown just like the rest of us. I sat down virtually with His Holiness and started by asking how his life has changed during this pandemic. His answer? Simple.
No change.
He explains that he often takes a long meditation retreat every year for a few weeks or months. Now he's doing just that, albeit involuntarily.
And I always look television, at least 1 hour, 2 hours like that. Then most of the time, sometimes reading, mainly meditation. I think daily my meditation about, I think, 4 or 5 hours meditation. Very useful, very helpful.
And he says for those of us who want to explore meditation, start small.
At the beginning, few seconds, 20 seconds or 30. Then gradually 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can sit on that pureness of mind. I think worthwhile to start meditation. Then mind, not now sensorial mind, the deeper mind. Then you see focusing some deeper meaning, the meaning of life.
For the Dalai Lama, meditation is helpful, but he says even for him, watching the news is painful.
Very sad. When I saw in television some starving people or poor people, sometimes I crying.
But he reminds us not to feel helpless.
Indeed, it's very sad. Without losing, the courage. Sadness should transform determination. More suffering, more determination. Should not feel helplessness. That's a failure.
He references the struggles he's faced in his own life. He was recognized as the 14th Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader of the Tibetan people, at the age of 2. He was just a teenager when the Chinese military marched in. In 1959, he escaped into exile in neighboring India.
Like our own cause, we never sort of give up. We try. To acknowledge these things. One fail, again effort, fail, again effort. That's the proper way. You make one effort, fail, then completely lost your determination. That's wrong. Failure, again, try. So, regarding this illness, now number of doctors, nurses, even they willing to sacrifice their own life. I really appreciate, wonderful. So, without losing our self-confidence, make effort. That's important.
You have lived through so much pain yourself. You're a refugee as a consequence of Chinese military action. And now China is playing such a controversial role on the world stage. You are still able to generate positive feelings for the Chinese after all of this?
Yes, certainly. China, no democracy, politically quite tight control, so totalitarian regime. But this will change. I think China will change. You see, sort of friendly sort of feeling here. That gives me more inner peace.
Since the Dalai Lama mentioned that he's watching a lot of news these days, I ask about the performance of President Donald Trump, who he has criticized in the past for a lack of moral principle. You have met with every American president, except this president, Donald Trump. I wonder If you could speak with President Trump now about America's role in the world in the midst of this virus, what would you say to him?
America, the leading nation of free country, free world. So he's sort of thinking only America, a little bit too small. That's my feeling. Then a lot of American media, you see, sometimes a lot of problem, lot of criticisms. That's your business.
Given that so many of us are feeling so much fear these days, I ask His Holiness about the best way to reduce anxiety. He is unequivocal. Compassion.
Selfish, think just yourself is narrow, foolish, short-sighted. As much as you love yourself, take your care, and the basis your own life depends. You should take care more than. So altruism is the ultimate source of happiness.
I've heard you describe this as wise selfishness. If we're feeling anxious or scared in our current circumstances, from what I hear, you're advising us to turn our attention outward to help other people, and that will in turn make us feel better.
Yes, yes. I myself, you see, as soon as I wake up, I always think altruism. That really brings inner peace, inner strength.
We are kind of out of time, but I do want to ask you one more question, which is, how do you stay hopeful?
Just, wind up the crank every morning, turn the key. No, I'm conscious of what I'm doing, what my colleagues are doing, what people all over the world are doing every day to create a world worth being hopeful about. And I call that approach applied hope. It is not mere glandular optimism. It is not theoretical hope. And it's not optimism or pessimism, which, as Dave Brower taught us, are different forms of fatalism. Treating the future as fate, not choice, and not taking responsibility for creating the world you want. But I'm pleased with how quickly things are going and how much opportunity we have to make them go even faster. If you go to rmi.org and search on Berkeley, you will find my Berkeley Natural Sciences commencement speech called Applied Hope, and that will tell you a lot more about it. But just remember, as Raymond Williams says, to be truly radical is to make hope possible, not despair convincing.
Well, you have made hope possible for a long time and continue to do that. Thank you for that. Please join me in thanking Amory Lovins.